Chosen One!
Welcome to the Chosen One, and today on Unit 101, we are covering none other than the This Is Rogue One Squad Pack. Just going to do the Squad Pack as a whole because the box was just released, and we've already had a GT win with the box. So, right off the bat, we're going to get into Jyn Erso Stardust. She is an 8 squad point primary, bringing 3 force points. She's got 9 health and 3 durability. Brings us a tactic with This Is a Rebellion, isn't it? Choose this unit or an allied Rebel Alliance supporting unit. One character in the chosen unit may dash or make a 5-die attack. This is really strong. This allows Jyn to set up extra plays, extra movement. Then she has one reactive, well, 2 reactives. This one is Reckless, Aggressive, and Undisciplined. When this character is making a melee attack as part of combat action, before dice are rolled, this unit may use this ability. Add 2 dice to the attack roll for each enemy character other than a target that is not wounded and engaged with one or more characters in this unit. Very rarely comes up. We've seen this like on characters like Mando and whatnot. It's cool when it comes up, but it doesn't always come up. I Rebel. This is one of her strongest abilities. When a character in this unit makes an attack, after the effect is resolved, this unit may use this ability. This character may dash. This unit may use this ability 2 times during its activation instead of the normal 1. This is very powerful when you factor in the fact that she can trigger this off of her own tactic attack. It's very good. So if you're playing Jyn fairly aggressively, she can get 2 back points and do a ton of work. She is bringing us a pretty decent identity. When a allied Rebel Alliance unit would spend 1 or more force to use an ability. If you do not have enough ready force, you may instead spend 1 momentum. This is basically going to allow you to always do abilities. This is really good for some of the force economy in some Rebel lists. I have yet to actually use it, but there are a few lists where this is going to be very powerful. Additionally, once per turn, when an opposing player gains 1 or more momentum, one character in this unit may double heal. This is going to be really good for keeping Jyn Erso free of conditions, so that way she's always moving, doing her stuff, keeping her topped off of health. You can use this to heal other characters. She can play kind of a support role if you need her to. Personally, I like playing her as the offensive piece. We get to her stances. We got Aggravated Assault and then Resisting Arrest. So Aggravated Assault, their defenses are the exact same. They both roll 5 at both range and melee defense, and their expertise is 1 to 2 gets you a block and a dash, 3 gets you 2 blocks and a dash, 4 gets you 2 blocks and a reposition. This does not change on either stance. Their attack values do change though. On Aggravated Assault, she is throwing 7 melee dice and 6 ranged dice. On Resisting Arrest, she's throwing 7 ranged dice and 6 melee dice. The attack stats don't really matter here. It's really depending on what you're looking for on the tree because the expertises on both are fairly good. So on the Aggravated Assault offensive expertise, on her gun, it's 1 to 2 is a crit and a hit to a crit. 3+ is 2 crits and a dash. This is really strong expertise, especially if you're using this expertise on her 5-die range attack from her tactic. You're going to get 2 results through pretty much as long as you roll an expertise and a hit. If they turn to 2 crits, this is really strong because this can set up an expose with that 3 damage and expose. This can tee up people so that way you can get further down your tree. This is the stance that I am generally starting her in if I am playing her super aggressively where I want her to set up wounds. Very, very strong expertise. And then her melee expertise on the side. 1 is a crit, 2 to 3 is 2 crits, 4+ is 2 crits, and a hit to a crit. So she's got very good expertise. And then the expertise on Resisting Arrest, it's just switched. The melee is the really good for the 5-die. And then the range gets that 1 crit, 2 to 3 gets you 2, and then 4 plus gets you the 2 crits with the hit to crit. She's got a very good conversion rate, and she does a lot of damage on both sides. So you very much can play her as this attrition style blitz piece. She's very fast, very mobile. She's not the hardest to bring down, though, but she is very force economic. Even if she gets wounded, she's gonna still do stuff. Even with getting wounded, you only need to I rebel once. Cool. It's you spend 1 force for a dash. It's very, very solid. She is a rock star primary. On to the second unit in the box. We have Bodhi Rook. He is a 3-point cost character, bringing 0 force. This unit has 8 health, 2 durability, solid stat line for a 3 cost right off the bat. He doesn't have 7. He's bringing us an active ability. Choose an allied Rebel Alliance unit within 4. 1 character in the chosen unit may dash. Then if the chosen unit is a spy, 1 character in this unit may dash. Very good mobility. He can choose himself with this, so he can double dash and then full advance to get to a point. So he has that play pattern, which is very strong. His other active ability is I just need an open line. If 1 or more characters in this unit are contesting an active objective that you control, and if there are no enemy characters contesting that objective, roll 3 attack dice unless your opponent spends 1 momentum. Then if dice were rolled, gain 1 momentum for each expertise roll in the roll. This is going to net you usually 1 extra momentum. And while this is free, you're always going to do it because your opponent's either just going to lose a momentum or you're going to keep the momentum. So he brings us an innate. Allied Rebel Alliance characters within range 3 that are contesting 1 or more active objectives have Steadfast. And then Allied Spy characters within range 3 that are contesting 1 or more active objectives have immunity to expose. So he's making stuff immune to expose with their spy. And then the big thing is the Steadfast for Rebel Alliance. This is going to make his team entirely sticky. Very, very strong. We look at his tree. He's got decent stat line with the range 5 guns, 6 attack dice, 5 defense dice at range. Melee defense is 4 with a melee attack dice of 5. Look at his expertise. It's just 1 to 2 is 2 hits. 3 plus is a crit and a hit. And this is on both melee and range expertise. And then he's got the standard 1 to 2 gives you a block. 3 plus gives you 2 blocks for defensive expertise. He's not going to be the tankiest character in the game. He's got a decent tree with a shove on 1 followed by 2 damage and a dash. So he has the I get 3 steps down resolve, I get extra movement. He also can dish out a pin. So he's doing a decent amount of work with his tree, and he's like pawns, he's actually going to be surprisingly effective on the attack. He's not going to be the most crazy character, but he's definitely going to be able to punch something pretty good. Overall, he is very strong, but he is still competing for Luke Skywalker in that 3-cost position, I feel. And I feel Luke provides more for Jyn than Bodhi Rook does. But Bodhi Rook is going to see a lot of play. I feel that he is perfectly adequate for a 3-cost. And he's got the 8 health, which is something that Luke does not have. Then we get on to Baze Malbus and Chirrut Imwe. They are a 5-point cost character, and I'm just going to get right into it. This is probably why you're buying the box. This is by far the most impactful unit in the box. You're going to see these guys pretty much in every single Rebel team going forward, I feel. Baze Malbus and Chirrut Imwe, they bring a tactic. I fear nothing, for all is as the Force wills it. It's a force refresh, and then for each wounded or injured token this unit, they refresh an additional force or remove damage or 1 condition from itself. These guys are always going to have a strong activation, and that is very powerful. They're always going to be force neutral on their activation. So that means you can throw these guys in, and your list is going to be more force economical just for their inclusion. We got then their active. We've been in worse cages than this one. If their active stance is I am one with the force, each character in this unit may dash. If their active stance is the force is with me, one character in this unit may reposition. The dash is really important. The fact that they have movement, or if you need to, one of them needs to advance twice to get to a spot where they really need to do stuff. They have very, very good play patterns. And then Guardians of the Wills. This is their innate. While this unit's active stance is I am one with the force, characters in this unit have cover 1 and sharpshooter 1. And while this active stance is the forces with me, characters in this unit have steadfast and impact 1. Additionally, after this unit changes its active stance, it may immediately make a focus action. This is huge. This combined with Andor means they're an automatic Shatterpoint target because they're going to be able to benefit from the sharpshooter and the impact, just giving them more dice. And these guys hit really hard. Their last in AE is paying for the door to open. This ability is rarely going to come up. When determining control of an active objective that all characters on this unit contest, if there is a tie, you may spend force. If you do, remove an opponent's control token from that active objective. Then if you spent force and your opponent didn't remove control of that token, you gain a momentum. This is super niche. It is a way to technically farm momentum, but it is so costly that I do not think you're going to ever see this ability be used. This may as well not even exist on the card. This is not factored into them being a 5 cost at all. They're the 9 stamina, 2 durability. These guys are fairly healthy, high health supports. And then we get to their tree. So the forces with me is going to be their melee stance. This is where they get the impact. We look at they're both 6 attack on range and melee attacks with 5 defense on both as well. On the force with me, he's going to get dashes from the expertise, and when 1 to 2 gets you a block, 3 plus gets you 2 blocks, 4 plus gets you 2 blocks, but it's dash, or reposition on that 4 end, very strong. On the I am one with a force defensive expertise, we lose the dashes and the extra movement, but we get crit mitigation, and the threshold stayed the same. 1 to 2 is a block with a crit to hit, 3 plus is 2 blocks, crit to hit, 4 plus gets us that 2 blocks and a crit to a fail. This is going to be their more defensive side with I am one with the force. Their trees are just mirrored of each other. And then their offensive expertise, as you can see, is really insane. These guys will wound stuff constantly. They're the workhorses of the box. And man, do they hit hard. These guys are super consistent. I think Han and Chewie might have a higher ceiling, but these guys have a much higher floor. And they have just them having Scoundrel and Rebel Alliance tag means you can fit these guys in Scoundrel lists and Rebel lists. They're going to be stapled, and I think they're going to see a ton of play. So where do we play Rogue One as a whole? We've got 4 lists for you today as kind of a starting point. First 2 are going to be the Leia pairing. So the top list is just going to be the This is Rogue One box with This is Some Rescue box put together. Having both Han and Chewie and Baze and Chirrut in the field, the supports are going to be your workhorses, while your primaries and secondaries act as support for them. It is a very scoring, very mobile list. And it focuses more on, I have a revenge trigger, but Leia and Luke are going to be positioning everything where they need to be. It's very, very, very score heavy. But if we want to go with a list that has a little bit more punch, making Jyn an Ewok with Endor Leia, the Endor Leia Luke Rebel Commandos package, this is one of the highest damage output Rebel teams in terms of individual squads. And then Luke and Leia giving the repositions and advances to characters like Jyn mean that Jyn can get into the fray pretty quickly and start using her tactic to do stuff. It's a little risky, but it's very much, this one has more punch. This one has more mobility. So, like, the Endor Leia is more punch, with the Charming Leia doing all the movement shenanigans that that list can do. Then we get to the classic pairing of playing Jin with Andor. This list pretty much has already been seeing success. LSO was won by this list, minus Luke was played for Bodhi, but this is just where I play. I like Luke when you're playing K2SO or Jin. The reposition on them is super important. Plus, Andor's ability to get rerolls off of Luke when they get the hunkers is very potent at making Andor hit harder. And in the Andor variants, Rebel Commandos and Baze and Turret are probably going to be your Shatterpoint targets most of the time because of how easy it is for them to get focuses. And they have high impact with the Sharpshooter 2 and Impact 2. Then, if we really want to take advantage of Bodhi Rook in a spot where a lot of people are going to try him out, it's going to be Luke. Luke with Bodhi. Bodhi can move Luke, and now you can take Rebel Commandos under Luke. We're still playing Andor with Chewie because this little package here allows Captain Andor to really get up in the fray a little bit more. Chewbacca can help keep him alive, and then Baze and Turret are just, again, rockstar solid supports. I feel that if you're playing Andor, your supports need to be Baze and Turret with Rebel Commandos at this point. This box does a lot to the game for Rebels, and don't sleep on Jin. I think she's very, very solid. Thank you for watching this episode of The Chosen One, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. If you want to catch the next video, you can watch the one linked above, or you can just go and listen to the podcast on the playlist below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for your support.